AM 1260 KLYC, and we are here at the Amity City Hall. It is a public meeting for people to stop by and comment about what is called the Transportation System Plan, as the City of Amity and the citizens of Amity look at transportation issues in the city, pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicle traffic, and how to get people from here to there in an orderly fashion. Now, the City of Amity is small enough that they're not required to have what's called a TSP, or a Transportation System Plan, but they're developing one anyway. We're talking to Chuck Eaton, who is the engineer of the City of Amity. And Chuck, why you put together a TSP? A lot of work.
It is a lot of work. We did get a grant to put together the TSP, but it's a necessary element in order for us to get other grants to actually fund transportation improvements, specifically sidewalk, bicycles, safe route to schools programs, etc. So, it's a critical element. Amity is small. We have limited resources, so the more grants we can get for those improvements, the better.
Now, one of the things you were talking about, safe route to schools, we were looking at the pedestrian map there, and you were talking about safe routes over or improvements on the railroad crossings.
Yes. Basically, we do not, only one of our streets right now has pedestrian access across the railroad crossings. The other three crossings we have in town don't have any sidewalks at all across the railroad crossings. So that is a big bottleneck for us that we need to get improved in order to get pedestrians across those railroads.
What are some of the other big issues on your punch list?
Connectivity is another big one from me as a city engineer viewpoint. Specifically, we have some very long blocks with dead ends that limit fire access. So those are concerns. And then basically, I guess crosswalks and bicycles, are the other things that we're looking at.
We'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight as we're drawing lines on maps and getting public input. We have CH2M Hill, the engineering firm working with the city. Chuck is here, ODOT is here, as everybody's maps on the wall, and they're looking at maps and saying in pedestrian, the road system, land use planning here in Oregon, and the bicycle system, how do we get from here to there efficiently in Amity and grow the city smart, right?
Right. That's a good way to put it.
So we're here. We'd like to see you here as well, and there's a few cookies left, so come stop on by. This report brought to you by McMinnville Hearing Center in McMinnville with Greg Arnone and the folks. They're there to help you with your hearing needs. If you have any questions, stop and talk to Greg. I'm Dave Adams, AM 1260 KLYC, on location in Amity. AM 1260 KLYC. We are at Amity right now, Amity City Hall, and taking public input regards to the transportation needs for the city of Amity. Right now we're talking to Tara, who's with CH2M Hill engineering firm.
Correct. Hello.
So what are some of the issues? I'm listening to some of the folks talk, and we have some issues with sidewalks in Amity as far as the connectivity of sidewalks, one sidewalk contiguous for another. There's some spaces where there are no sidewalks. And there's also an issue with turning across Highway 99W during busy commute times.
That's correct. There's a higher volume of traffic on Highway 99, and so when you're turning left, either off of Highway 99 or from a side street onto 99, it's really hard to find an adequate gap in traffic. So we have people kind of waiting on the side streets to make that left turn maneuver.
So what we're doing is developing what's called a transportation system plan. Is that something that is being developed because there's a need, or it's just state law that they have to have a TSP?
So there's a state statute called the Transportation Planning Rule, which requires cities of a certain size and above to do a long-range transportation plan. And it's a long-range 20-year transportation plan that looks at all aspects of transportation, biking, walking, driving, freight, all of those aspects. And so Amity is small enough that they don't technically have to do a transportation system plan, but it really helps if you want to get money from the state or the federal government to have a plan and to have a list of projects already pulled together and that have been vetted by the community. And so that's the purpose of doing this plan now, is to make sure that the city has a list of projects that they can then go find funding to help implement.
One of the nice things about a community the size of Amity is you just put a map on the table and people start drawing on the map and say, this is what I think.
Exactly. People love that. It's a great way to get in and really feel like you're providing your input and that you're being heard. And we will definitely take this back and help create our long list of projects that we'll then choose from to put into the plan when we start writing the plan in the spring.
And we're here at Amity City Hall. We'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight. It's right on the main drag. You can't miss it, right here on 99W. You can look outside and see the traffic.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So we'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight. If you have a comment or two, or maybe you'd like to draw some lines on the map, come on down and you can do so and have your voice heard, because after all, this is America, right?
Absolutely.
Democracy at work in Amity. AM 1260 KLYC, and this update brought to you by McMinnville Hearing Center. If you're having some issues with your hearing, you have some questions that you would like to have answered, talk to Greg Arnone and the folks there. They're now ready to help you with your hearing needs. AM 1260 KLYC. AM 1260 KLYC, and right now we are in Amity, and right now at City Hall, and they're taking public comment.